Ladies and gentlemen, we finally know the finals of both the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics coming up at TakeOver Vengeance Day, but more importantly, Dogecoin has made its way onto WWE TV. The possibilities, y'all, the possibilities. My name is Jordan Moser, and this is your NXT Recap and Review. Kicking off the night, we do have our first semifinal from the Dusty Rhodes Classic on the men's side. We got MSK versus Legato Del Fantasma. I definitely expected this to be more a fast-paced match for the most part, and it definitely boiled down to that at the end. But at the first half of this match, a lot of technical action going on from all four men, a lot more of a moderate pace instead of a lot of high action. Eventually does grow to that in the climax. We do see just a nice spot in the first half. Legato's just hitting splashes and quick tags in the corner. That goes on for about the span of a minute. A really nice little sequence, and the crowd ate it up, of course, as we go into our commercial break. We come back from break. Lee finally gets the hot tag in after Nash Carter was just worked over for a little bit, and he comes in flying, boy. Like, he is definitely one of the quickest men in NXT that we've seen in a minute. He just comes in. Eventually, they get that nice little pushing back flip to knock out Legato on the outside, and he hits a beautiful, beautiful tope to the outside as well to kind of take control. But we will not undershoot how good Legato Del Fantasma has looked, not just in this match, but in the tournament in general, because they have definitely come together and gelled a lot during this tournament as a tag team. We even see some beautiful moves in the back end of this match. We see Joaquin Wilde hit that nice springboard hurricanrana to kind of get a 2 count, and then we even see him just leap from the top rope off the back of Carter and then hits a 450. That was beautiful right there. Even though he got the knees up, I don't care. It still looked impressive. But we do see the end of this match come. They're going for that Russian leg sweep kick combo. Carter grabs legs from the outside, and that allows Lee to take control in the ring. He hits a super kick, and then they hit that heart attack blockbuster for the 1-2-3 and the win. They are going to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This was pretty nice stuff, especially the back end of the match. It really boiled down to just a nice little compact sequence of moves that I really like. I'm growing more to MSK style, especially the heart attack blockbuster at the end. Didn't really care for it as a finisher at first, but it's kind of growing on me a little bit. Definitely do want to play up Legato Del Fantasma because they've definitely done their job throughout this entire tournament. They definitely gelled as a team a lot, and so I'm pretty impressed with all four men here. The right team, one that's going to the finals and can hit it on all good stuff. Next up, I'll talk about all 3 in one kind of each woman that's in the NXT Womens Championship triple threat at Vengeance Day got their own little video segment. Mercedes Martinez pretty much talking about how she's going to dominate and that it's been a 20-year grind for her. We respect it, sis. We respect the grind. Tony's just like, hey, I've beaten Io before. You know, it's Tony time now. And I was like, okay. And then Io just coming like, hey, I've done this before. I can do it again. Bring it on. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. I haven't exactly loved the build to this match, but definitely looking forward to the match at TakeOver Vengeance Day when it comes. So good stuff all around. Next up, we do have a match between Xia Li and Cora Jade. Wasn't really much of a match, honestly, just a lot of short stuff. Xia Li won with the spinning kick for the 1-2-3. But what happened during the match and after the match had a kind of an impact. We see the KCs, Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter come out during the match, before the match, and they're kind of just pleading with Xia Li like, hey sis, this isn't you. Like, come back to us. What are they making you do? Come on now. And Xia Li is just confused. Like, she's just ready to handle business and go back to her master. And then the KCs, Kaden Carter, you see her go up to the entrance ramp to try to get more answers from who is now being referred to as Mei Ying. And she don't say nothing because she don't talk. We ain't never heard her talk. And that's when Xia Li's like, hey, that's my master. You're not going to talk to my master like that. So she attacks both women, takes them out. At one point, Mei Ying does have a little bit of a choke on Boaz. He's just trying to plead his case for everything that's going on. And she eventually lets go of that. But this was really interesting. It's the first time we've ever seen anyone kind of interact with Mei Ying in some capacity. She just shows off her grittiness and her power against Boa and stuff like that, and the control that she has over Xia Li as well. So I don't know where this is leading, honestly, but I don't say that I hate it this week. It's definitely waned a little bit in the coming weeks as well, but definitely like this little wrinkle in it here is Mei Ying is now moving and she actually has a name and we know more of the backstory and stuff like that. So can't wait to see what they continue to do with this. But yeah, short, simple stuff. Next up, we do have a short little in-ring segment from the way. Johnny Gargano is, he's hurt, man. He's hurt. He got attacked from Kushida last week. His arm is a bit broken. You know, his legs don't exactly work all the way, and they're just helping him into the ring. And he's just such a broken man. He's just a hurting man. He played the video on the Titantron, and he's just covering his eyes because he can't watch it. He's so sad, and he calls for Kushida, based on his attack, to be suspended. That way he can't fight him anytime soon. Regal eventually makes his way out to kind of poke holes in Johnny's argument a little bit and kind of prove that he is in fact okay. He will still be fighting at TakeOver Vengeance Day. Regal said the word charade instead of charade. I love Regal. I love William Regal. Eventually, Kushida makes his way out there and he attacks both Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano. He proves that he's all right because he's trying to hold the title back and is like, oh, wait, I thought your arm was broken. Eventually, after all this craziness, we do actually have the next Dusty Rhodes Women's Tag Team semifinal with The Way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell against the team that came out, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, going into the commercial break. This match took a little while to pick up near the beginning with just The Way isolating Shotzi as we came back from break. But once Ember gets the tag into the match, everything sort of picks up. We see her and Shotzi have really nice tag team combos. We see a nice little neck breaker, diving code breaker combination from the two. But eventually it is The Way that have control, just going into our next commercial break as Candice hits a very lovely top rope hurricanrana onto Ember on the apron and just sends her into Shotzi as we go into the commercial break. Coming back from break, and I definitely like the back end of this match a whole lot more. Definitely, I think, more cohesive. We see Candice and Indy really gelled as a tag team throughout the course of the match. They hit a nice little couple of tandem moves. We see that elevated moonsault from the second rope for Candice, and she tries to suicide dive to the outside. She didn't get a lot of it, if any of it. I don't think I've ever really seen her hit a full-on suicide dive. Jog my memory if I'm wrong. I just don't remember ever seeing it. And then she also hits the Wicked Step Sister on Shotzi as well. And Indy hits a nice little springboard elbow from the top rope, only for a 2 count as well. You can't keep Shotzi Blackheart down. We do see the end of this match come. Shotzi reverses both Candice and Indy. Eventually, Ember ends up from the corner, hits the Eclipse on Candice, and she ends up just in perfect position for that top rope senton. Indy covers Candice before Shotzi can hit the senton from the top rope. She hits it anyway, and Shotzi was the legal one. She got pinned. A 1, 2, 3. Shotzi and Ember Moon win and move on to the finals of the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And we see them at the end. They're pretty much facing off with Raquel and Dakota on the stage with the trophy and loom. And Regal comes out and is like, hey, the winner of this match at TakeOver Vengeance Day will get a Women's Tag Team Championship match. I knew we needed some sort of stake. So that was announced. I think this was probably the best Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match that they've put on so far. I think it just laid out the stakes very clearly. All 4 women really did their role. This was Indy's best performance to date, in my opinion, that I've ever seen her. She looked really good. Not a lot of botches that we usually see from her, unfortunately, but it was just a lot of good action from all 4 women. So I'm loving this. Definitely the right team won. I'm loving the teams that are going up against each other at Vengeance Day. So can't hate it on it all. Pretty good stuff. Next up, we have a match between Austin Theory and Kushida. They barely wait for the bell to go ahead and just start brawling in the corner. Johnny Gargano almost gets involved immediately on the apron. That allows Theory to take control for a good portion of the first half. But we see Kushida, he's consistent in attacking that arm. He will take down that arm and get ready for that hoverboard lock. But we eventually see him. He tries to go for a springboard on the outside, and Theory knocks him off to the outside on the barricade as we go into our commercial break. Coming back from break, and Theory is dominating. He's taking care of business until, as Wade Barrett said it on commentary, a complete 180 happens, and Kushida all of a sudden is in control just with kicks and strikes to that arm and to the chest of Austin Theory. Eventually, this whole sequence leads to Kushida getting an armbar on Austin Theory on the apron on the outside as the referees pleading for them to get back in the ring. And Gargano hits a super kick on Kushida to get the qualification of finish, and they just tear down on Kushida on the outside. Eventually, they try to get him back in the ring, and Austin Theory is grabbed from under the ring from such a mysterious figure, He takes him into the unknown darkness. Gargano tries to pull him out, and it's Dexter Lumis, y'all. It's Dexter Lumis. He was there under the ring for who knows why, who knows what reason. And they eventually brawl. Segment ends with them standing tall, Kushida and Lumis standing tall. Kushida has the North American Championship in his hand, and Dexter is staring darts at him. Like, I don't know if he wants the title or if he's just being weird. I don't know. But this was good while it lasted, at least the match was. I didn't really care for everything that happened afterward. We haven't really seen Gargano get an upper hand at all in this feud. So I'm guessing that he's probably winning at TakeOver more than likely if I keep my predictions to the chest. But yeah, definitely just good stuff in terms of the match. It was short, but good while it lasted. And the stuff after the match, didn't really care for. I still don't care for Lumis's character in any way or his intentions in any way. So I'm just a little weird, but it did what it had to do, of course. We saw a couple of segments backstage as well, eventually leading to Santos Escobar versus Karrion Kross being announced for next week's NXT. But eventually you see later on, Escobar sends Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza to go take care of business against Karrion Kross. And he didn't like that. He didn't. We come back, he has left them out cold, just backstage, covered by debris and all. And he is coming for Escobar next week, and he will destroy him, more than likely. Yeah, take away your Cruiserweight champion. Just do it. Just do it. For whatever reason, just do it. Whatever. We come back to a Lambo pulling up to NXT headquarters, the Capitol Wrestling Center, and out comes none other but Cameron Grimes. He comes out and he's just flailing money, wearing a nice little brown suit with the hat. He comes out just throwing money at people, talking about, hey, I was out for like 2 months, and I should have been focusing on how I was gonna get Timothy Thatcher back when I came back. But he ain't worried about no more. He ain't worried about that no more, because you know why? Because he invested in GameStop and Dogecoin, as he referred to as Dog Coin, because he don't mess with kitty cats. He don't mess with kitty cats, y'all. So he is just rolling in money and all. Nobody can tell Cameron Grimes what to do anymore because he got so much money. He got so much moolah. Eventually, he's just throwing it around and he's just flailing in it. Like, he was really having a fun time. Like, this was really fun to watch. It's definitely a weirder character change. I like this old character and how obnoxious he was, but this is even more obnoxious for whatever reason. And I don't know if I'm really into it as of yet. We'll definitely see how the character kind of progresses in the next couple of weeks, but anytime Cameron Grimes is on my screen, it is a pleasure, it is a joy, even if it's a bit of a passe Ric Flair kind of type character. But I'm looking forward to see where they kind of go with this. Definitely a new lane for Cameron Grimes, but as you saw tonight, he can definitely pull it off. So we'll see how this comes in the next couple weeks. But I loved it, yet it was weird at the same time, but I loved it more. And last up in our main event, we do have the last semifinal from the men's Dusty Rhodes Classic. We got Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa versus the grizzled young veterans. Zach Gibson is out to talk. He is such a pleasure on the mic, ladies and gentlemen, just running down both of their inabilities to team with other people and have them be an actual team. This leads Ciampa and Thatcher to come brawling outside the ring for a good minute until everything kind of settles and we end up back inside. But GYV definitely had control at the beginning of this match. Just their teamwork and their quick wits gave them the advantage. We even see, as we're going into the commercial break, them hit a powerbomb on the apron to Tommaso Ciampa, and he is just taken out literally for such a long time. Like, GYV had control forever throughout the commercial break, and as we came back from break as well, and Ciampa was just chilling in the corner, honestly. We see Thatcher pretty much alone. He eventually does get an uppercut to kind of create separation. He goes to tag in the corner, but there's nobody there. Where's his man's at? This leads Zach Gibson. He sees Ciampa outside Stern, ready to get back in it. He goes out to try to prevent him from doing so, and he fails. He gets clocked for his troubles. Ciampa gets into the match with the tag, and he comes in just cleaning house. Consecutive clotheslines all over the place for everybody. Ends off with a double clothesline and a nice little white noise onto the prone body of Zach Gibson for a 2 count. We do see the end of this match come though. Everybody's pretty much balling on the outside. You know, James Drake, he hits a suicide dive to try to take out Thatcher. He tries to get back into the ring, and a la very reminiscent of last week, Tommaso Ciampa tries to go for the Widow's Bell on Drake, but Gibson is there. He holds his legs, and so that Ciampa snaps back and he hits his head, y'all. He hits his head real hard on the apron. This allows GYV to take advantage, Ticket to Mayhem, a 1-2-3, a win for the grizzled young veterans, and they are going to the finals for the second year in a row in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, facing off against MSK at Vengeance Day. This is a pretty nice little main event, definitely played up just the physicality between the two teams, but the tag team work of the GYV definitely came in handy. We'll see where Ciampa and Thatcher kind of go from here. I expect them to kind of split off. I don't expect them to really tag together for a lot more, but definitely the respect is there between the two, so I definitely expect them to interact a lot more, even if they're not specifically tagging together. But the right team won. GYV versus MSK is going to be a barn burner if it's given time at Vengeance Day, so I cannot wait for that. But good little main event here. Good way to cap off NXT just going into Vengeance Day. We did have pretty much them running down the entire card and all of the competitors pretty much facing off in what felt I would say forced more than anything. It's just everybody with their own little segments, just like yelling at each other, basically. And then we get the end where Finn Balor and Pete Dunne are just staring at each other, basically, to try to build anticipation for Vengeance Day. It didn't really do a lot for me, but just a cool little way to end off the show, I guess. It didn't really do a lot for me. That is going to be it from another episode of NXT. Really solid show. NXT doesn't really put on bad shows, so it was just solid action all around. We did get a couple little weird stuff. You know, the Xia Li stuff is a little weird, and Cameron Grimes' new character, I don't know if it's going to the moon or not. I don't know, but it was just really weird to see him come back with a new, very rich, very dog coin-esque character. But a lot of good action on this show. The tag team matches continue to impress, just wrapping up the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and I'm looking forward to what they continue to do at Vengeance Day. I have my own little predictions, but we gonna get to that later on in the week. But once again, solid show from NXT as always. You will see my predictions, my NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day recap coming on later in the week. But that is gonna be it from your boy. I'm out. Peace. Enjoy yourselves. Love yourselves. Happy Valentine's Day or Vengeance Day. It's an alternative. I don't exactly know what that means, but we gonna run with it, you know? Have a good one, y'all.